The big questions that my research focuses on are how we can better manage our lands in light of environmental changes like climate change. So the specific research I do looks at how our California coastal shrublands respond to environmental changes like changes in precipitation or pollution from nitrogen deposition, and how those responses scale up to affect animal communities. And the way that we answer this question is by collecting plants from across all of California and growing them in one common environment where we can manipulate specific environmental factors that we're interested in studying. So we can change precipitation, or we could change the temperature, we could change the nitrogen deposition, and measure a whole suite of traits of these plants. And then we collect insect communities from the focal plants that we study to look at how plant responses to environmental change affect higher levels of the food chain. And then of course those insect communities are the food resource for many of our most threatened and endangered bird and reptile species. So in this kind of experimental setup, we can understand how changes in the base of the food chain might affect the whole community, and better understand how California's shrublands as a whole are going to deal with the predicted environmental changes we see happening. There's only 10% of the original shrubland community that remains, and that little bit that remains is still experiencing threats from wildfire, from development, from climate change and changes in precipitation, increased droughts, and pollution. There are many habitat conservation and restoration projects that are funded by the state and funded by taxpayer dollars that don't take into consideration that the environment in the future may not be the same as it was in the past or what it is today. And so my work is trying to understand how these communities are going to deal with environmental changes, and how we can shift some of our conservation and restoration practices to be more efficient, more economical, and guarantee that these systems that we're restoring will persist into the future as the environment does change. The Public Impact Fellowship has been useful in a number of ways. It's allowed me to take a break from teaching so I could focus all of my time and effort on getting my research done. It's allowed me to have the time away from teaching to be the mom I want to be at the same time as be the scientist I want to be, and pursue my dreams of earning my PhD without having to put a hold on my personal life at the same time. And in addition to that, one of the most useful things has been the opportunity to speak to non-scientists about my work, to travel to Sacramento to speak to legislators about the importance of funding graduate research, and learning as a scientist how to take the research I do and share it with a public audience in a way that highlights its value.